Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
the Straight Shootin View.
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Straight Shootin LJA and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, in this, I'm going to take this in two parts. Now, the first part is going to be about recent pitch invasions, and the second part is going to be about a mandate handed down by a couple of clubs in regards to previous pitch invasions. So bear with me. But you know what, yeah? Pitch invasions is going to be the overall kind of impetus of this particular episode of the Straight Shootin View, because recently we've kind of seen a rise in pitch invasions again, and sadly it is one of them ones where it seems to be becoming in vogue for, well, people to misbehave. That is another topic that I will tackle on a Straight Shootin View at some point, but as I said, we're going to stick with pitch invasions right now because recently Everton versus Crystal Palace. Everton came back from 2-0 down against Crystal Palace to win 3-2 and secure their Premier League status at the end of the 2021-2022 season, which sparked a pitch invasion. Now, as much as the on-pitch stuff when it comes to the players should have been the story, the pitch invasion became the story, because in the ensuing pitch invasion, one moron, and every club has them. Every club has a moronic minority, as I've said for years now. One moron was effing and blinding, throwing all sorts of obscenities at Crystal Palace manager Patrick Viera, and there's an isolated about 10 to 15 seconds worth of what this idiot, I'm not even going to give his name, just this idiotic Everton fan was hurling at Patrick Viera, which caused Patrick Viera to kick out at him. And you know what? In all honesty, I can't blame Patrick Viera for it, because he will have been pushed a hell of a lot. Bearing in mind, he's a manager of a Premier League club. He's a representative of Crystal Palace because of that. And it's one of them ones where it's like, he must have been pushed very, very far. That 10 to 15 seconds of footage that's out there, and even the fan himself put out the point of view, the POV footage of him actually hurling obscenities at Patrick Viera, but it was only a few seconds worth. So you can only imagine what had led up to that. And this was in the middle of a pitch invasion, by the way, that led to Patrick Viera swiping out and kicking out at this fan. And the sad thing is, literally, I think it was like a day before, if not the same day, Swindon versus Port Vale. There was a pitch invasion in the League 2 playoff semi-final, and players have come out and said that they were physically and verbally abused during that. So it's like, yeah, it's like, this is not isolated incidents anymore. You've got two incidents in the space of 48 hours, if not 24. So it's one of them where it's like, pitch invasions are not smart, they're not clever, they shouldn't be done, and they are of great risk to people, whether it's one person, whether it's many people. Forget the fact that it shows how utterly brutal and awful Everton season has been when they're having a pitch invasion and their fans are celebrating like they've just won the Premier League because they've just stayed in the Premier League by the skin of their teeth. Forget that. The fact is, player safety is being put at risk. Now, you can't expect 20, 30, 50, 60 stewards to keep everybody at bay. The stewards are always outnumbered 100 to 1, you may as well say, because there's 40,000 people in that Tin Pot Shack Stadium. So it's one of them, but also as well, I think it's one of them, the liability on the clubs cannot be understated here. Now, I've talked about this before, and I'll go into a bit more detail in the second part of this as well, because certain clubs, Chelsea and Leeds specifically, have said if children of ticket holders are involved in pitch invasions, then the ticket holders themselves get lifetime bans. And as I said, whether you're an adult, whether you're a child, and you're invading pitches, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be doing that. And there's one of them was, but these media outlets and fans saying, well, people are just showing their passion. No. Cheer if you want to show your passion. Boo if you want to show your passion. You don't need to go on, run onto the pitch and hold up the game, and even do it after the game as well, because you're putting people at risk. You are going onto the pitch literally for no reason, and you're putting people at risk. So it's one of them where it's like pitch invasions are not supposed to happen, and there are reasons for that. I mean, imagine someone had got trampled in that, or someone had been seriously injured. Then who gets the liability? The club. That's what people don't think about, in my opinion. The club ends up having to take on the liability for the actions of some moronic fans who feel it's clever to go and charge me. Yeah, I'm showing how passionate I am. No. There's other ways of showing it. And I said, the idiot who was winding up Patrick Viera, it's like, dude, what is your problem? Like, celebrate your team's achievement. Like, why do you have to go and start goading the opposition? Crystal Palace, from what I know, have never had a problem with Everton, and neither has Patrick Viera, from what I know. So it's like, why are you doing that? He was literally, like, the guy was literally holding his phone up in Patrick Viera's face, flipping him the bird, like middle finger right in the guy's face, going, F you, have that, you effing this, effing that, hurling obscenities at him. And bear in mind, this is in the like 10-15 seconds that have gone viral. So there was clearly stuff before that to make Viera act the way he did. I'm not saying he should have, and I'm not condoning Viera's reaction, but I understand it. Because it's like, what is your problem? So it's not as if Viera was going around, but he winding up Everton fans by going, go on, bring it. He wasn't doing that. So it's one of them where it's like, we've seen pitch invasions in the past. And as I mentioned on the Straight Shootin View, I think it was episode 65, talking about Sam Kerr, when she shoulder barged a pitch invader. It's like, imagine that pitch invader had been carrying something, and he tried to get at Viera in that way. Imagine it had degenerated. So it's like, nah, man. As I've said before, it's like the powers that be are waiting for something serious to happen before acting. Because the FA have come out and said, football should be a safe place for everybody, this and that. And it's like, well, you in the Premier League need to be handing out fines. Not just coming out with statements, this and that. Nah, you need to start handing out fines and hand them out sharpish. So it's one of them was, if you punish the club in a draconian manner, then you will stop these pitch invasions happening, because people will think twice. They'll be like, hold on a minute. I might get the club in trouble here, so let me not do it. And then some people will come out with the cheap escape clause of, you might get away fans pretending to be those fans, those home fans. It's like, no, really, that's your get out clause for not sanctioning clubs. Come on, shut up. Oh man, I mean, you look at what happened with Dave Chappelle. I know it's comedy, it's entertainment, but still, look at what happened there. That guy had a knife on him. It's like, he didn't try and attack Chappelle with the knife, but he could have. And during pitch invasions in football, we've seen incidents before. Stevenage, I think it was back in like 2013 when they upset Newcastle, and one of their players got punched in the face by a fan during a pitch invasion. So this stuff is not clever, it's not funny. It's like, dude, no, it's risky. And I'm with Jurgen Klopp, where it's like, dude, it's dangerous. You're voluntarily bringing your kids onto the pitch during a pitch invasion. dude, you don't know what's going to happen. So, yeah, it is an interesting one. But you know what, yeah? I did say at the beginning we're going to go backwards to go forward. Back in January of this year, 2022, Chelsea and Leeds, as I mentioned earlier, handed down basically their own edicts and their own sanctions in regards to if children of ticket holders invade pitches. So, part 2 of the Straight Shootin View is going to be dedicated to that. So, I'm going to throw to myself from January 2022. Chelsea Football Club to issue lengthy stadium bans to parents / ticket holders whose children invade the pitch. Now, Leeds United have also implemented something similar. And you know what? I'm actually with this. I'm actually a firm believer that people shouldn't be invading pitches. Because, as I said, if you go back and listen to my Straight Shootin View episode about the pitch invader during the Chelsea-Juventus ladies match, where Sam Kerr ended up shoulder tackling a pitch invader, it's like, that could potentially be dangerous. And nobody should be allowed to invade the pitch whilst the match is going on. I don't care whether you're an adult, whether you're a minor, whatever. Because, think of it this way. From a liability standpoint, if something happens, if a child runs onto the pitch and something happens, then who's liable for it? The club is liable. Because 9 times out of 10, it's the club who owns the pitch. If it's not the club who owns the pitch, and it's, say, especially with Chelsea, their largest supporters group, then it's one of them ones where that supporters group is now liable for the actions of one fan. So it is one of them ones where you do have to, I mean, I'm a firm believer as a father that you do have to instill proper ethics and values in your children as early as possible. So don't lie, don't steal, and all that kind of thing. And it is one of them ones where you're going to have to add now, don't invade football pitches. Because as well, it's one of them where it's like, I think if you punish the parents / ticket holders, they're going to keep a lot closer an eye on what their little ones are doing. And we do somewhat, without getting too deep into it, we do somewhat live in a world where a lot of parents want to exonerate themselves of any sort of responsibility for anything. They want to blame TV, they want to blame movies. And I said, I'm not saying every parent, far from it. But it is one of them ones where a lot of people in this world do like to blame everything on other people or other entities. And at the end of the day, it's just not right. So if you can't keep your child in a seat at a football ground, if you're losing control to that extent, what's next? I don't want to be no doom monger or fear monger or anything like that. But the fact is there. It's a case of, if you can't keep control of your little one at that point and teach your little one that it's wrong to just run onto the pitch willy-nilly, then really and truly you should be punished for that as a parent, I think. Because as I said, nobody should be invading pitches. That's trespassing, and that's a criminal offence. So you need to be teaching your kids, don't move from your seat, stay in your seat. Like, it's not, don't be invading the pitch, pure and simple. So Chelsea and Leeds being the first couple of clubs to institute those kind of lengthy stadium bans, it's like, it's a deterrent. And I think it's a good deterrent at that, because you need to show people that, you know what, you're taking this seriously. And not as a symbolic gesture either. You need to show that you're taking it seriously, and it's like, you know what, okay, there's going to be there's going to be some serious ramifications if you let your kids do it. And I think more clubs need to actually take up on this, because the pitch invasion thing, it's not even just a problem for kids. I think there should be lengthy bans for adults as well, because adults are supposed to be setting the example. And as I said, coming back to my recent Straight Shootin View episode about Sam Kerr and what happened when a pitch invader like invaded the Chelsea Juventus women's match. It's one of them where that could have ended up dangerous. That easily could have ended up dangerous. It could have been one of them ones where that guy could have been carrying anything. And he was a teenager. I think he was like 15, 16. So technically he's still a minor. So it is one of them ones where it's like, imagine if you're a kid, you'd say you're like 8, 9, 10 years old. Remember, you can't go to a football match on your own. You just can't. And really and truly, if your parents are letting you go on your own, well, there needs to be questions asked there. Again, not going to get political about it, but there should be questions asked there. So, I said, it is one of them ones where there needs to be a lot more safeguarding of these players on the pitch. And also as well, because you're dealing with children, you're dealing with minors and that kind of thing, if they're invading the pitch, they're putting themselves at risk. And I wouldn't want my kids running onto the pitch and, like, let's say a player doesn't see them and accidentally like wipes them out, like runs into them and causes some sort of injury, then who's going to be responsible for that? Who's going to be liable for that? Is it going to be me as a parent? Is it going to be the club? It's like, then it gets messy, it gets into murky waters legally. So there's a lot to it. But as I said, Chelsea, Leeds, well, fair play. Lengthy stadium bans to the parents, because remember, the parents are the ones bringing those kids. The parents are the ones setting that example as well. So, pitch invasions. Are they a powder keg waiting to happen? Whether it's one person, whether it's 1,000 people, whether it's 40,000 people all on the pitch at the same time. Are they a safety risk? Should clubs and fans be punished in a draconian fashion if those pitch invasions happen? What do you think? Also, should the ticket holders be punished for the actions of their children if their children decide to invade the pitch? Is that fair? Is it not? I want to know your views. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website for everything Pitch Talk. YouTube.com/Pitch Talk for all of our videos. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. You can catch our podcast on www.pitch-talk.com. You can also catch them on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Spotify now have video versions of our podcast as well. Also, Ghana, G-A-A-N-A. If you're out in India, catch us on Ghana Podcast. So many other places. TuneIn Radio. You can catch our podcast there. You can catch our podcast on Verbal, VURBL.com. We are Verbal ambassadors and proud of it. You can also catch our podcast on Player FM 2. I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and you know what? Thank you guys for your time, and don't invade pitches. Take care, and I will see you next time. Thanks for your time, peeps.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football, dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram.
Facebook.
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.